Hey, what's going on, everybody? These next series of videos is probably going to be real tough, but let's just, kind of get into it. Back at business, right? So this video, I think it's just going to be called, I Hope You're Right. This video is for not the people that know, that like want him to be cruel, but the people that I do believe there are some people out there that like actually voted for him because they believe what he had to say. Right? They believe that like he just like he said for his promise, he will be the only one that can give world peace, right? He can end all the wars. I hope that he's right. I hope he does it. He said that he's the one that could lower the grocery store prices, right? He said that he was the one that could do that. I hope he does. That's something really good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I hope that he does, like solve the mass immigration problems. I mean, everyone wants a orderly system that doesn't have illegal entrance. I do hope he does it, not in a super cruel way, but everyone wants a good border. I do hope that he does things that are better for the country. But what if he doesn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, we all hope. God bless America. I don't want to have to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want there to still be free and fair elections next time. I want to be able to have political discourse again. We all are vested in that. But my question to you is like, what if you are wrong? What if we're posing? You won. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you won, and there be nowhere to wiggle, because guess what? Not only do we have the Donald Trump have the presidency, but you have the House, you have the Senate, and you have the Supreme Court. So there will literally be no roadblocks, nothing in the way. You can't blame old Democrats, oh this, oh that, nothing. Everything's in the way. And as much as, I guess, the people that voted for Trump, they have to feel the economy sucks right now, because, why would you want to trade administration that had a really thriving economy? Even the Wall Street Journal says that whoever inherits the economy is lucky, because it's one of the best economies that has one of the best outlooks for the future. So, Trump will be inheriting a good economy, even though he says it's bad right now. It was like, but I guarantee you in the next 2 months, after he takes over the presidency, in 2 months, even with the same data, even if the data like shows something worse than the growth of this economy, he's going to say it's a good economy. He's gonna say it. Guaranteed. Because now it's his. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and anything at all remotely that was bad will be blamed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he'll take credit for all the good stuff and never take credit for the bad stuff. Because when has Donald Trump ever accepted fault for anything? But I digress. What if you guys are wrong? And I know, because you guys have heard him say some of this rhetoric, and I feel like part of the reason that people just, don't care is because there's just so much, right? I pray that you're wrong, that he doesn't just end every environmental protection, right? I pray that you're wrong, that he doesn't just start rounding people up and having prison camps, right? And having like 3 million people mass deported like quickly, indiscriminately. I think that y'all don't think that's going to happen. I hope he doesn't get us out of NATO, right? Like, you might think that that's a good thing, but that's a 70-year alliance. And there are trading partners too, right? You don't think that getting out of that alliance will have any negative impact upon our trade relationships? I know y'all don't think that he is going to have like people be attacked from his political enemies, even though he said it. I know you don't think if he goes ahead and arrests Nancy Pelosi, or puts Joe Biden on trial, like all those things, you guys say he will never do that. But if he does it, what will you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things. What if he just starts attacking another country for land? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he deals with countries that are like dictated? What if he starts having like trade relations with North Korea without any humanitarian sacrifices? Like, is there anything that y'all would do that would enable you to admit that you were wrong? And then more importantly, would you act on the right side? If he did even a few of the things that all of us are literally losing sleep over. He wants to have unlimited immunity for police officers. Remember George Floyd? Remember all that stuff? Remember like black people getting killed by cops? That still happens. It's still going on. It's because it's not in the news anymore. It doesn't mean it's not going on. He still wants implied immunity for all those situations. Me as a black man who has been stopped by cops falsely, that scares me. That this man wants to support that still. What if he does that? That's okay? Like, what will you say, hey, that's not cool. That's not what I signed up for. What if when he gives you his tariff policy, what if you realize that, hey, oh my God, my goods went up 30%? Will you say, hey, that's Trump's? Because I guarantee you what, he will never admit it. That it's his fault. He will blame any and everything else. He will never take responsibility for his own failures. If anything succeeds, yes. If anything fails, no. So what if that tariff plan is awful? What if those deporting all the immigrants, as every economist says, will cause a huge recession because that's the labor force being left, and it's going to raise the cost of prices for businesses to operate. What happens if that is a failed policy? Will you be like, okay, Trump, you messed up? What I actually feared, like, is real, and I've had some videos about this previously. It's like we're in such a place where ego is like really the issue here. Like admitting when we were wrong, all those things, and what are you going to do? Like, that is our fear. That's what, like, I think people like me are really fearing. Like, okay, give it a shot. We have no chance. But what if the shit fails? What will you do? What if you are wrong about all of it? Will you stand up? Or will your pride and ego prohibit you from getting on the right side of history? And will you just march into fascism? What if this motherfucker actually turns into a fascist? What if he tries to take away elections in some way? What if he tries to take a bunch of people off the polls? What if he has martial law? What if he tries to deny disaster relief to certain states? Because he almost did that, right? What if he does that? Will you then say, like, all right, enough is enough? I just want to know what the line is. But I think, sadly, in America here today, that you wouldn't. I feel like you would just keep on going until we are with the next Hitler. Because somehow, up is down and down is up. Just don't be that. I feel like what we need to demand, people that are listening here, that like really want to do something, demand the media to ask every Republican that's in office right now what their red lines are. Ask them. We already know what Trump is going to do. We already know what Trump is going to say. I want you to get Lindsey Graham on the record to say, like, oh, yeah, I know I think he's all joking. But if he actually did that, yes, that would be a red flag. I would stand up to him. Get every Republican to say these things. If he has a national abortion ban, which he said he wouldn't do, then I would be like, okay, that's wrong. We're going to stand up against him. What are their red lines? Ask them down the line. All these things that we are losing sleep over, that they claim, oh, he'll never do. If he does it, then what? Get it on the record and then hold to account. That's all we can do. But I'm closest to say, like, I pray. I've never prayed more that I was wrong. I've never prayed more than I was wrong, and I love to be right. But if I'm right and y'all are wrong, I pray you have the humility. I pray you have the decency. I pray you have the courage to admit it and then align properly. That's all I got, yo. Until next time.